Greetings, I'm Christopher Logan Hilt, G.I. Joe Gamer. Today we're looking at AD&D Modules and just reminiscing and having a nostalgic trip back in time, maybe a little bit. Now, before I get going, I do have a couple things I want to say. I have a little interloper here, but I don't have the heart to move my cat Luna. She's just right up in the way, but we'll get started anyway. Now, last time on D&D Me, I mentioned Warlock, and so I said that I had the Hook Horror action figure, so I kind of wanted to show that off. I still have this guy. Greetings, Spine Ticks. Nice to have you here today. I was just showing off my Hook Horror and about ready to get started. Good on you for watching football. I used to do that a long time ago. I used to be really into it, and I was a big Seattle Seahawks fan. But that was years before they even won the Super Bowl. But I did watch that when they did. I haven't been into football in a long time, but I still love football. So hope you enjoy that. But today, if I'd known that was coming on today, I probably wouldn't have done this video. But here we are. Got the Dragon Quest. This is still a throwback from Dungeons and Dragons. This game they put out. I actually had the actual board game of this too, but you got way more D&D stuff than sports cards. I believe it. This little game was pretty good. This they put it in the role-playing format too. So this was kind of neat. I didn't get rid of it. Somehow I lost the box. I don't know. But I have the game. Then AD&D went for it, and they put together a little box set for First Quest. Yes, this is for the Book of Artifacts, and the other one was the Wilderness Survival Guide, if I remember right. And this one came with these little cardstock characters that you could play with named characters. It was kind of neat. And it had a starting AD&D adventure. And this was the old Monster Manual 2 cover, which looks really nice on this box set art. And I'm not really sure what this was the cover on, but it was a cover on an old module. Let's see if we can get the glare off that so you can see it better. There. That probably looks a little better. I just love the AD&D artwork, and I'm pretty sure this is a Jeff Easley, and this one is wow. He didn't sign that one, but he did most of the old rule book covers. I'm not sure for Dragon Quest. That one, Win W. Connors. I was just talking about one of his modules not too long ago. He's a good author. He's the one that did that first Dragon Quest. Now I have all these old DM screens, and let me see. I'll bust this one out. I love the old first edition. Greetings, Shadow. Nice to see you. This came in like 2 parts. This was like the original cover, and these are really old, so I'm going to be careful with them. But it had on the inside, it had all the stats you needed for AD&D, and then the cover. And this part here, this I liked. I mean, it just added more stuff to it. Yes, instant nostalgia. I agree. I've been working on my military action game server on the Discord today, and my players are just really into it as well. So I've been enjoying that. I'm having a hard time getting into the AD&D stuff, but this makes it a lot easier. These old screens, I really enjoyed them, and that one is one of my favorites. The first edition one. I don't know if they had another first edition screen, but I don't think so. I'll put that in the bag later. If they get really tight in here, but gives me an excuse to play with it later. The second edition did this one, and I have 2 of them, but this one's got some damage on it from moving and all sorts of stuff. And I used to live in California, and I had an infestation of a little vermin there for a while, and they would get into everything. And unfortunately, they got into my D&D books too, and I finally got rid of them. But it took a while in California. It was just really hard. Now I'll look at this one. This one was for the revised second edition when they give all the black border covers. Spinetick says, I just got a module in and wasn't told the last page was missing. Now, see, that sucks. What I do when that happens is I get my PDF copy out and print it up and put it right in there. Yeah, I got relatives still living in California, Shadow. I miss it, but I don't miss the laws and everything. I was so happy when I got the opportunity to move up to Utah. Yeah, that was years ago. SoCal, yeah, SoCal definitely. Let's see. He says, nice at Shadow and Sun. That's what Spine 6 says to you living in California. Which, yeah, I agree. I like the weather in California, that's for sure. You were thinking of trying to find a page, if you can find it. You know what? If I have the PDF, email me, and I'll see if I can email you the whole PDF. I don't mind. I got most of these old AD&D books. I feel like I escaped. I mean, California was starting to live up to the name Hotel California there for a while. Yeah, and my in-laws, they still live there. My mother-in-law and her husband. He's a great guy. He's my dad, really. My dad was never really a dad to me, and he's passed away now. But my father-in-law is still around, and he's a great guy. I got lucky with my in-laws, I think. But yeah, they had a hard time of it, especially my wife's mom when we moved up here. Let's see. Shadow says, I'm planning on moving to Texas to open a game shop in the next couple of years. Well, good on you, Shadow. I hope you have a website, and I'll buy stuff from you. My middle kid, they just moved to Texas, and so Texas is a great place to move to. I've never been there myself, but everybody I know who's moved there and lives there, I know quite a few people. This one's mostly just stats, but this cover was nice. Been playing with it. It came with a master index too, and yeah, I never used it. I mean, I probably should have. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Spine Tick says he'd go to Texas if he could too. Yeah, well, I made it to Utah, and I'm liking it. So my most used screen was this Ravenloft one. I'm not going to break it out because it'll probably fall apart on me. But I love this one. Love my Spelljammer screen. The memories this stuff brings back. Now, the first Quest game, it came with a screen as well. And I'm going to pull it out because it was pretty cool. The artwork on these screens, some of them was just really sweet. And my cat is giving me what you doing, eyeball. So yeah, it came with a little booklet for the third edition game. I never really got into third edition. Like I said, third edition was kind of the reason I made my own game, but I have a ton of second edition stuff, and you can just kind of follow this massive panoramic screen around, and I thought it was really, really badass. I mean, so I like this. I liked a lot of the stuff third edition put out, but I just was kind of like, well, all my old stuff is no good anymore. So I decided to make a game that, for me, my stuff would always be good. You've been buying 3E, the 5E for the lore? Yeah, me too. I've got a bunch of 5E stuff. I got rid of all my 3E stuff. I never got any 4th edition stuff. A lot of people don't like 4th edition. I've never played it, so I can't comment. I do have a buddy who really, really likes 4th edition. So there are people out there who do. Yes, that cover is gorgeous, Shadow. I love that one. That's why I kept it. They put out a box set for each of the classes, the main 4 class types. And I used to have all of them, but I ended up I found this. I thought I had gotten rid of all of them, but somehow this managed to stay in my collection. Like I said, the Beginner's Guide to the Fighter, and they each got a little box set. It was kind of cool. Spinetick says, I enjoyed 4E for the MMO line of sight kind of fighting. Like I said, I haven't played it, but I do know now 2 people who said they enjoy it, at least to a certain extent for you. The Monsters Compendiums came out with these annuals, and I really like the idea, this concept, and this one was really nice. This is basically all the monsters, or at least most of the monsters that came out in their modules that year. They would put in an annual. It was kind of neat. And I'm trying not to get your tail there, little girl. But no, what are you doing? She's gonna grab my book. The volume 2 was pretty cool. I mean, I couldn't pick out any of the monsters that are in each of these because it's been so long that I haven't even looked at these in I don't know how long. And I love these covers though. I mean, let's see what we can do with that. Okay, there we go. And volume 3, I think, had one of the better covers. And I know this was the cover to a module they put out too, but we'll see. I might have it. I don't know. I've seen that more than once. Volume 4 kind of had some Spelljammer stuff in there. But like I said, they put a lot of the stuff from their modules in for the year in there. Spinetick says the art pops off the white cover. You know what? I agree with that. Are you meaning this one, the volume 1, or the volume 2? Either way, I like them both. I like all these covers. They would do some really decent artwork for second edition, and they just kept getting better on some things, especially for second edition. But the old AD&D modules, he's got. We'll get into them. We'll talk about them. I love the Dungeon Builder's Guidebook. Wasn't as good as I was hoping for, but it was still pretty decent. Gave you a lot of ideas on how to design dungeons. I was hoping what they were going to do is redo the old first edition DMG dungeon generator, but they didn't. Then they had a World Builder's Guidebook too. Lots of good advice in these books. Let me see. Now we'll get into some of my original first edition stuff. I have I think this was the character folder. Yeah, this is the old character folder, and I think I still have some in here. Can't hurt to take a look, right? You take it easy, Shadow. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. You're doing Gatekeepers in 10 minutes. Yeah, I was just talking to my players going, man, I got to go. You've got a killer collection, Logan. Thank you, Spinetics. I think I do too. There's still some things that I do want, but now this is the original character folder that they had. I actually tried to do this idea, and I have some of the stuff still for it. But this was a really good concept. But mine is so old that it's even the back cover has come apart, and I just used it all. I mean, I found some Oriental stuff. I just stuck in here. I made one at some point. I don't even remember doing that. But, like I said, I was really into it. And on the inside cover, it had all the instructions on how to, and all the defining of the terms, which is nice. And it's a great way to, as a game designer, to make sure you get what you want in your own games. You look at the other stuff and you say, I like that. And you go, I don't like that, And so looking at all the old stuff does help with that. And I don't want to damage this anymore. So I'm hoping to get this back in here. No problem. Okay. Well, it was a little problem. I probably should readjust that later. So I'll check it out. I ended up picking up the Rogues Gallery. This is basically a collection of NPCs that they had. So many memories coming back seeing some of these. Yeah, me too. Some of these I haven't looked at in probably about a decade. So I'm also checking it for moss from last time. I haven't seen a lot. There was a bit on the outside, but not much. It might have some. I really love Tales of the Outer Planes. This one went with my Manual of Planes really well. Like I said, I could open the Manual of Planes and run an adventure, and this was awesome. This featured like 10 adventures using the Manual of Planes, and between the two of them, I really enjoyed Manual of Planes. Let me see here. Oh, all right. I had one of these for years. I had the A series, the Slaver series. Yeah, fine cover. And this one, yes. I like the Gets Yankee or Gets Sarai. I can't remember which one of those. I said that with the Fiend Folio last week, but I didn't look it up. Sorry. The Slaver series, like I said, I had A3 for years, and then when I moved up here, I picked up the second one. So I had 2 and 3, but last year I managed to pick up A1 and A4. So I've got the whole series. The first cover of that is pretty good. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but it works, and it's nice to have the whole run. And I actually wouldn't mind picking up. You have the A series too. Cool. I actually read these and was going to run them, but we never got around to it. I still might someday. This is an interesting series. But what makes this different is it's basically written by several different authors, and it was fun. It was fun to see the different styles. Like this one's by Dave Cook, one of my favorite authors for AD&D. Harold Johnson and Tom Maldivey. Tom Maldivey is one who helped put the D&D Me together, and the BX actually. And Alan Hammock. Don't know much about this guy. Lawrence Schick. I think the other module he did was White Plume Mountain, and I've got that somewhere too. Let me see. Then I got the C series, which was the competition modules, the Hidden Shrine of Timochin. Like I said, I don't have all of them, but I have most of them, and I just have been collecting for over the years. But these ones I've had since when I first started collecting AD&D, early 90s, late 80s. I picked up a lot of these. Yeah, White Plume Mountain is a classic, and I'll get to it. It's in here. Plus, I have the 30th anniversary edition box set. It's really nice. We'll look at that too in a bit. Last Alec Castanamir. I ended up getting this one too. To Find a King, I had the cover, but not the module. I think I ended up printing it up. So, yeah, this is just a printed copy of it. So I consider that I have it. Some of these were okay. I used to have the C6, which was the tournament handbook, but I loaned that to somebody and never got it back. We live and learn, right? That's why I stopped loaning out books. Now, like I said last time, the D series, I'm still missing D1 and 2. Now, I would love to get the original D1 and the original D2 separate, but if I can pick up they combined it into one module with D1 and 2, I wouldn't mind that one also. So these are cool. Then Gary Gygax, he put out some interesting modules. There's these Dungeon Land that's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. That's kind of the concept of these little two series of modules. I don't know why they didn't just ever compile this into one adventure, Land Beyond the Magic Mirror. Like I said, this was like Alice in Wonderland, and this was like Beyond the Looking Glass. That's probably why they did it that way, because they were two different books. But there were still just a couple of little modules, and I'm surprised that they haven't redone those for the 5th edition. But whatever, they haven't got to them all yet. I have Against the Giants. Now, I don't have the original individual modules for this series, but like I said, I have the 30th anniversary, and they reprinted them in that, so it's pretty cool. Dwellers of the Forbidden City. Oh, man. How many times have I tried to play this one? I've even got a conversion sheet for it for my game. Cool concept. Again, Dave Cook. So, I definitely like the style. A lot of his modules, though, some of the ones for D&D and AD&D have some similar concepts. And there was a difference back in the day. It's all D&D now, but I wanted to really get the I series, So I started printing them up. So I've got some of them like that, and I really want this series. I still want the Pharaoh and the Oasis of the White Palm. And you can't really see these because they're black and white. But I printed up the whole trilogy, and I just felt weird not having that one, so I printed it up too. But I ended up acquiring Tomb of the Lizard King a couple of years back. And this is a great little module. Would love to join my panel sometime. Me to join your panel, show off some of these. I could do that. I don't know when. I got a pretty busy schedule, but let me know. Email me or something, or on the Discord you can direct message me. Here we go, man. I got to pull this one out and look at it. It's my favorite. So, as far as I'm concerned, this was the peak of module writing, module design, module maps. If you haven't played this module, definitely acquire it in some manner and play it. And you know what? As much as I love looking at this, I have used this so much that the spine is coming undone, and we won't want to break the spine, right, spine techs? So what I'm going to do is when we get to my 30th anniversary, we'll look at that one. It's not, the colors aren't as good because for some reason they decided when they reprinted them to make the colors different. So yeah, I've been on Bear the Gen X DM. I've been on Old Geek. I haven't been on any of the others yet, as far as I know. But yeah, I've done other live streams and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to hang out and talk about stuff you love. Let's see. Have you bought any of those reprint module copies? I tend to only want the old stuff. Yeah, me too. You spent about $100 for Ravenloft last year. I would have too if I didn't already own it, man. That module is dynamite. So, Midnight on Dagger Alley is a solo adventure. It was okay. Had this little magic viewer feature. So again, it's like those other D&D ones where you use the magic ink. The PDF copies aren't very good. I mean, the PDF copies are good, but these ones aren't. Yeah, this one actually holds up a little better than the magic ink. I think that's what they were going for. The design on this one was okay, though. Yellow Geek actually did a playthrough on that one on his channel. So if you're interested in that one, you can check that out on his channel. I do have Queen of the Demon Web Pits. A lot of people hate on this module. Some people love it. It just depends on your taste. Now, I don't like the way they did some of the design features in this, but because this was the 7th in the series, the G1 to 3, and then the D series. Well, it was the D series, and then this one. I don't remember which order they were in off the top of my head at the moment, but the adventure in this, and however you imagine it, going into that realm is just it's incredible. And I don't think it's the ending that Gygax wanted for that series, but it'll work. I've never played it, but I've read through it, and it's a nice little adventure. There you go, Tomb of Horrors. A lot of people are into this. I say you're just really into buying the modules for the collection, art, and lore because you don't know anyone who is going to play AD&D. People talk about going and playing it, but see, now me personally, I'd play if somebody was running the game. I still love AD&D, and a buddy of mine, GM Cody, is going to run an old school game, and he thought about running it, but he's decided to go with basic fantasy, I think. And we're going to be starting that on his channel in a few weeks, right here in September. A couple Sundays from now, I think. Anyway, Tomb of Horrors. This is one of those illustration books, but I'm not going to bust that out. It's one of those. Dwellers of the Forbidden City was too, and it came with a whole booklet of it. Let's see. Here you go. White Plume Mountain. Now, the reprint I have of this in the 30th anniversary has that what do they call it? Monochrome cover. The not color. Oh, it was kind of color, but it was almost black and white. We'll check that out. I got a couple Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, so I don't know why. I've never played it. A lot of people really like this one. A lot of people don't. It's one of those. Yeah, AD&D Modules, a lot of them were hit and miss. I don't think a lot of them have the oomph that Ravenloft had, but it's part of my collection, and I don't want to get rid of it. And the reason why I have two, it's got illustrations too. One of mine doesn't have the illustration booklet, and the other one does. Let's see. You say, I think my status is basically collect, read, and watch, but play simplified revised recon, solo or two-player tabletop combat in any game skin, D&D, G.I. Joe, etc. Yeah, me for the most part, me too. Now, I haven't checked out recon. A lot of people say it's pretty cool. But like I said, I am making my own military action game, so I got some stuff for that on the Discord if you want to check it out. It's coming along a lot faster than I thought it would. It is a Lenharrow clone, but I'm having fun with it, and my players are loving it, so that's what matters. If everybody's having fun and you're having a good time, then it's good. This is one of those that I made a copy of. I don't know why, because I have the original, but maybe it's because I didn't want to damage it. It looks like that's the case. And so I have a conversion for this too. Lost Cavern of Soulcamp. Only 3 stats, which is nice. I have, like I said, I have the in mine. I have the 6 stats, but it's familiar and simple. But I also added something that I call Power Score in Lenharrow. That basically helps you determine hit points and everything, and it's the sum of all your ability scores together. And for me, I don't know why. It's like that was missing from the old games to me. I don't know what I would do without Power Score in my games now, so I got to include it. It helps you with a lot of different things that no single ability score can determine, but your Power Score can, and that's all of them together. Anyway, I have the original Village of Hamlet. I don't have the updated cover of this, but I dig this little adventure. Like I said, I like to combine this with Keep on the Borderlands B1. So B1, T1, BT1. It's a beaut. I loved having this and playing it. I had a buddy run this. Yes, Village of Hamlet is sick. Temple of Elemental Evil. It's one of those. It's hate it or love it. And for me, actually, though, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. And I have a story for that one, but I really can't say it on the internet because it's by today's standards would be considered not so nice. But back then, that was hilarious. It was a different world we lived in. I was gonna run Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh a couple years back, and so I had printed it up, and I ended up getting the new hardback revised edition. But I decided that I wanted to run the old school one, so I ended up because I had U2 and U3 already. So what I wanted to do was I wanted a complete collection, so I ended up getting U1, and this cover. I love this cover. I'm glad I picked it up. It's so much better than cover. You remember owning it, and of course the name, but don't remember the details anymore. Elemental Evil. Yep. Yeah. Village of Hamlet. My son was just running not too long ago, so I have a fairly good recollection, if I can speak, of the city and the moat house. We played it. It was pretty cool. We actually finished it, so that was actually nice. What I did like about Temple of Elemental Evil was it came with a little map book that slid into the back, but it made the map so small. It was a nice idea, but bad application. Anyway, Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh is a great module. The whole U series is pretty cool. Danger at Dunwater, lots of fun. There's some underwater encounters and. Fun, man. Nostalgia, dude. I didn't have them when I was younger, but as an adult, I'm liking them even more. Now this one, somebody put a sticker on it, and I don't want to damage it taking it off, so it's still on there. So it says $3.95 forever, but it sure isn't what I paid for it. I paid probably about $15 for it. It's a good one. Like I said, the whole U series was neat. I have some of the UK. I don't have them all. I have another one that I don't have here, and I'm hoping it's in my storage, but I can't find it. It should be with my some of my D&D stuff that's in storage, but I didn't get a chance to put it in with my collection. You're seriously considering selling off your Star Wars stuff and widening your D&D collection? It's an option, dude. It really is. But make sure you're not going to regret getting rid of your Star Wars stuff. I don't really regret getting rid of my Star Wars stuff, but because I prefer the G.I. Joe stuff I got when I got rid of my Star Wars collection of action figures. It's kind of the same thing, though, with your book collection. If you love playing Star Wars, you may not want to get rid of it. But if that's what you got to do, and you want some of this older D&D stuff, I'd rather have this stuff myself. So, but everybody's got their own opinion. Now, this module, Beyond the Crystal Cave, never played it, never read it. Just one of those. I picked it up recently, and because I had a couple of them. I had UK 2, and I played this one. This was a nice little sandbox adventure. A lot of people don't think it's a sandbox adventure, but I do. Had this one. Man, when I first started playing AD&D, this was one of the first modules I got. And Dark Clouds Gather, just love it. A lot of people don't even know about it. I probably will do a review on this one at some point. Very fun adventure. I actually created a monster very similar to this creature on the cover that I call Beatazu, or no, not Beatazu. That's a fiend from second edition. Barzaic is what I call them. Very similar, weird names, but anyway, I got a conversion for it for my game system. So, I got some. This is all what I consider my Greyhawk stuff. You have one of those UK modules. Which one? Anyway, I never could find any of these other WGRs, but this one right here, I found this one. I picked this up, and Ray the Trader. This is a neat idea and a cool concept. He was one of the Circle of 8, and he betrayed him. And there's a whole series in here about how he betrayed him, and then it goes into where he moved to, and has his whole setup. Man, I really enjoy this. It's one of those that I've read. I've read but haven't in a long time, so I don't remember it. One of the best WG series is actually the first one that came out. They were supposed to come out with some of the other modules as WG series, but brought them out in different ways. And I'm not 100% sure on my memory which is which, but The Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun by Gary Gygax. I mean, very oddly put together, and I agree with the old geek who I'm pretty sure did a review on this. But when you actually get into it as a game master, you can play it. UK 6. What was the name of that one? All That Glitters was UK 8. Yeah, I didn't have that one, but I have another one. I think it was UK 6, but it's hard to remember all these module names. Mordenkainen's Mordenkainen. I like to say Mordenkainen. Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure. I actually ran this about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. It was actually interesting. I just kind of tossed it into my campaign world, and my players really liked it. So can't fault these old modules for. I need an instant adventure, and insert it here. Now, this is not Castle Greyhawk the way Gygax intended it. I know a lot of people get mad at this module because it was kind of just campy and a little over the top, but it was fun. There's like 10 adventures in here or more, all by different authors, and to me, I don't know, it was fun. There's even a generator in here where you can generate constructs that resemble Marvel superheroes, if I remember right. It's can't be fun. And again, it shouldn't have been named Castle Greyhawk. If they'd named it something else, it probably would have got a lot more traction. But everybody was hoping for Gygax's super module that he called Castle Greyhawk, and then he went and did it in another game system, Castle Zaggig or something. His name best spelled backwards or something like that. I'm not familiar with it, but this one, another one of those I picked up when I first started playing AD&D. I played it a lot. There's a lot of cool pre-made characters in here, and the gargoyles in this could actually take their wings off. It was kind of weird, but it was an interesting module and a lot of fun. And this is one of the only ones that's was compatible with both AD&D and Second Edition. I don't know why they said that, because I never found a problem converting back and forth. So here's another one that has that same sticker on it, Child's Play. But I picked this up about maybe 5 years ago when I moved up here, and I haven't read it yet, so can't really comment on the contents of this one. But it has an interesting enough cover, little fat dragon. Oh, there was you know what? I've got the other part to that. I put it on the bottom. Let me look. There was a series of modules, and they didn't have a name for the series, but it was the WGS series, and it started with 5 Shall Be Won by Carl Sargent, and I enjoyed this. It was fun to play, and a buddy of mine ran it, and we enjoyed it a lot. We never got to Hal from the North, but I managed to pick them both up because I enjoyed the first one so much. Haven't really read this one, but it's by Del Slade Henson, so who knows? Could be a good module. He wrote some interesting ones. But what they did with that series was they ended it in a box set. Now I have a little baggie with all the little tokens for the war minions and all the armies and battles, and it came with a lot of poster maps to run the battle. And it was basically the way they ended up. They wanted to go out with the old and then start all new, and they did okay with that. But I prefer a lot of the older stuff. Now, when they did the 25th anniversary, they brought out a few of these really pretty silver border covers, and they redid Against the Giants and added a bunch of lower level stuff at the beginning. So they made it basically you could do a whole campaign with Against the Giants, and they retitled it Against the Giants: The Liberation of Jeff. So this was kind of cool. I enjoy that. Let me see here. Return to Keep on the Borderlands. They redid it, and it's okay. I kind of like elements of both, but I still prefer the original. Now that my conversion for it, of course, because I've run it and played it. It's fun. And then they did a Return to White Plume Mountain, and again, elements that I like of both. So it's nice to have both. I'm currently reading Big B's Glory of the Giants 5e, and I'm enjoying the lore. Cool. Like I said, I do like a lot of that 5e lore that they're putting out, and I might do a video on my 5e stuff. Like I said, I have about 10 hardbacks and some of the box sets. I did like the starter kit and the essentials, and some of the both starter kits weren't bad. They like I said, when they tried to redo it, they came out with a Greyhawk Player's Guide, and it was okay. I was a little disappointed because I was really excited for it, and I managed to only pick up one module for it, and that was Return of the 8, the Circle of 8. I mean, this was kind of neat for the lore, like you said. And by Roger Moore, I'm doubting it's the actor. Rest in peace. I did pick up Ruins of Under Mountain, one of the best box sets they ever made. I do like the 5e update, and I have that too. But Ruins of Under Mountain, it came with a bunch of little card stocks, came with tons of poster maps. Great box set. The other box set that I really miss having was Dragon Mountain, and I sold that out of my shop, and that's one of those that I wish I had. Great art on that circle cover. Let me see what you're talking about here. The Circle of Eight, yes. And I can't remember what theme that is. That might be the Balor. That demon right there. But yeah, it is a pretty cool cover. I like some of these Ruins of Thunder Mountain covers too. Typical dungeon. It sums up the box set very well. Yeah, I don't use tape, so sometimes my folds pop out on my magazine bags and boards, which is what I use for those of you who didn't watch last time. Thunder Mountain Adventures, nice little booklet, and some of the ideas that they have, there's so much. You would definitely have to run Ruins of Thunder Mountain as a campaign, which is why I like the 5e update, because that's what they did with it. And then they had a sequel to it, and I've got both of those, so that's pretty cool. You use painter's tape now, so it won't stick to the book. Whatever works for you, man. I got to folding it with my comics, and it just seemed to work really good for me, so that's what I like. Now, for Forgotten Realms, I don't have a ton of it, but there are some things that I just love and had to keep, and Draconomicon is one of those, man. If you know what I'm talking about, this is all about the lore of dragons and how they affect the Forgotten Realms, but AD&D in general, really. And they have pretty much every dragon they had at the time in this book and how to run them. It's kind of cool. Lore. More lore, man. Okay, let me see here. I started in my Forgotten Realms and forgot to start a new stack. This is getting too tall. I might have to move that out of the way here shortly. I did manage to get the second one in the series. This is a reprint, though. I did have the original that said over here in the corner, or was it? It was this one. It was this corner. I was right the first time. Where, like, it says FOR1, I think. Yep. And this one, it was FOR2, and I originally had it that way, but I don't know what happened to it. I might have sold it or traded it for something. But when they re-brought it out, I love this cover, and it's Dritz on the cover, and that's pretty cool. Face melting Draconomicon, yeah, even messed up. I wanted to get a new copy of the Draconomicon, but yeah, on the aftermarket, it's pretty pricey. Just got Dro the Underdark 3.5. Like I said, haven't checked that out, but I have the original, and it's by Ed Greenwood, so that's my lore right there. And I did have the Menzo Baranzan box set that I picked up recently, and they worked really well together. Let me see. There's one. I'm starting to put them up here again. I'm in that habit. Let's get that. Picked this up just a few years back, maybe 5 or 6. Well, a few years for me, but Demi-Unes of the Realm. Haven't read it. I was in that. Ooh, there's an AD&D book. I haven't bought one in a while, so I picked it up and added it to my Forgotten Realms collection. Did love this book. Very nice. Pretty much everything you want to know about Waterdeep in the first edition was in this book. Very cool cover, I thought, too. Love that Spectator, man. That's the name of the type of beholder they got in there. Just sitting there like so disgusted and bored with everything that's happening. Like, minions, take care of me. Yep. Yeah, you and me both, man. I'm glad my shopping list is actually shrinking. I mean, but yeah, I get what you mean. And I keep wanting to put them up here still. I don't know why. Yeah, it's because it was a habit. Anyway, Flames of the Falcon. This was a neat series. Like H1 the Bloodstone module. It came with these little cutouts that you could turn into buildings and stuff. And I actually started trying to do that with this, and they got all messed up, and I wish I hadn't. And so I'm not going to do that with my my Bloodstone module. Speaking of Bloodstone, this is the end-all be-all of high-level modules, levels 18 to 100, first edition, Forgotten Realms, Throne of Bloodstone by Doug Niles and Michael Jobson. Fun module. As in my group, we played this 3 or 4 times. I've run it. I had 2 other DMs run it, so I got the chance to play it. Lots of fun if you're really wanting into high-level romp. Instant death around just about every corner, even for high-level characters, but lots of fun. It's one of those. You play it just for that. If that's what you're looking for, that's what's in there. Epic adventures, man. Epic. And how many of these did I stick up? Oh, that's Greyhawk. That's supposed to be up there. I don't know why I was in with this stuff. Okay. I like these. These are other high-level adventures. If I remember, Halls of the High King. Now, when I first started playing AD&D, I bought this module, and I got this idea in my head to write my first module. Complete it. And my DM was of the type that he did not want to run anything that wasn't produced by TSR. So what I did was I wrote my module, I put it in here, and I brought it to his game. He let me run it. He loved my adventure. So I have never actually played Halls of the High King, but my DM was like, "This is a great module, Chris." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm enjoying it." And I wrote it. He picked up the screen. He goes, "Sure you did, Ed Greenwood." And I'm like, "No, sir." And I showed him all the sheets that I wrote, and he was kind of mad for a while, but he still liked playing it. Yes, TSR fake out. Yes, sir. But yes, I at one point I did read this. It is a good adventure after all, but I used it to get my module past my original AD&D DM. TSR fake out. I like that. Now, Nightmare Keep, I have played and run, but it's been so long, I don't remember. But it's levels 18 to 20. So another one of those high-level romps. And so if you're into that, make sure I didn't put anything else up here. These are good modules. The FA series, FA 1 and 2. I think the reason why they did that was they redesignated FA because they wanted to designate their high-level games. Now, when I was talking last week about Horror on the Hill, when I combined it with a Forgotten Realms series, this is it. And this is the Randall Moore trilogy. And they started with the Return of Randall Moore. I'm pretty sure I have these in order. I might have them backwards, but these were some really fun modules. This is a really fun series of adventures. And for Forgotten Realms, I was like, man, somebody gave these to me, and I'm like, man, these are really good. I would have actually bought these. But it was like right near the end of the era of old TSR, right before they became WotC. So these were some of the ones that were still on the books. I don't know if this was from WotC or from TSR still, but good little series of adventures. And this cover, I like this cover. It's pretty cool. Yes, I still like your comment, TSR fake out. Thank you, Spike. Then they had a bunch of these Forgotten Realms modules come out right at the last, and I was just picking them up because at that point I was just collecting, and I saw Dritz on this cover, and I went, gotta have that. So very nice cover with the wolves and him doing his thing, and one of the coolest Rangers they ever made, and they make him a deep elf, or that's what I call him in my campaign, but a drow. Good idea. Good on them for a change. Haven't run this one. Fall of Mithranor. This is like a campaign accessory. Arcane from the Arcane Age. I really didn't get into that, so I don't know much about it. But I did. They had a box set, Mithranor, but yeah, I never got into that. I didn't have that. Like I said, not a lot of Forgotten Realms stuff, but I have a lot more than I remember. That's for sure. How the Mighty Are Fallen had a Terraskew on the cover, so I was like, man, I got to get that. Another Arcane Age. Haven't read it. Like I said, I haven't read a lot of these Forgotten Realms ones, but I saw these dungeon crawls, and then now they've got the Dungeon Crawl Classics, a series of books from another company. So I haven't checked any of those out, but this is probably what inspired them. Was they did these Forgotten Realms Dungeon Crawl series. I had a module called the Caverns of Death or something like that when I was doing D&D. So I thought that was cool. I'm like, oh, wow, I got a module that has a similar name to it, but it's an easy one to come up with. So I'm not really surprised that they ended up naming a module like that. Some of these were just Ultimate Dungeon Crawls. Like this was levels 9 to 12. Hellgate Keep, but never played it, never read it. But dig these covers, and like you, I was just collecting it, just to have it as part of my collection. And of course, they had these. I had the Ruins of Undermountain, and they started bringing modules out for it. So it's nice that they redid the campaign setting. Well, they probably should put these modules together into a. They may have. I don't know. It may be in the lore because I haven't read these, but under Ruins of Undermountain was really cool. This is Mad Goth's Castle, and then I got another one, Stardock, and I'm not sure if those are the only two for Undermountain they put out, but definitely wanted to collect them all. And I never got the box set for Ruins of Undermountain 2. In fact, I never even heard of it until just a few years back. I did buy Planescape, so I've got some of that. I don't have any of the modules. I don't think I do anyway. I think I have the Monstrous Compendium for it though somewhere, maybe. It's been a while. Like I said, I haven't looked at these in a long time. But the Planescape, they had a player's guide in the box set, the DM's guide, and then they had Sigil and Beyond. Sigil is just a vast and incredible city. Well worth it just for, like you said, the lore. Like Spinetick said, worth it for the lore. Okay, so we got Night Below. And for those of you who don't know, and if you're watching in the replay, Spinetick is Lord Sithley. He's got a really cool channel. Please check him out. Okay, and that's my plug for the day, Spinetick. Well, I might plug somebody else as I get going here too. I like a lot of YouTubers and content creators. Just like I said, these had some nice covers. I do like that Elithid. If I can get a really good shot of it. Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, thanks for plugging me on your show the other night. My subscriber count went up quite a bit, and then it went back down. They saw my channel and went, okay, that's not for me. But I subscribe to everybody anyway. I don't care. Whoever I saw and could get to, I might not got to everybody, but it was fun. He said, nice, just bought some minis from the Night Below set today off Troll and Toad. Well, that's cool. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm going to plug somebody. Mage's Musings on YouTube is doing a recap series on Night Below. So check that out. I read some of this, but I never did get the chance to play it. It was a really nice box set, and it came with a bunch of poster maps and stuff. It was nice. We call it YouTube tax. It takes subs from me daily. Yeah, exactly. Generally, people show up, they like my stuff, but I know a bunch of them came over from your show and subbed and then looked at it and went, okay. Because a lot of them are into cards and stuff, and I'm not really. So I went over their channels and checked a lot of theirs out too. And some of them I probably won't watch all the time, but I still will leave a sub on them. So I get it. I get it. You know, I'm a G.I. Joe and a gamer, so that's what I like. They brought out these Monstrous Arcana series near the end of AD&D, and this was for the Beholder. And I think they brought like 3 modules out for each one, but I ended up only getting a couple of these. But nice covers. Like I said, I just enjoy having the artwork. I say every morning I get subs from YouTube shorts, like 20 to 40, that I watch in real time as it rolls back 10 to 12. You know what are we gonna do? One of these I just had the cover to, so I don't know. I think I bought these like in a grab bag in a shop, and one of them just had the cover inside another cover. It was weird. But you know, when you buy used modules, sometimes you get extra, sometimes you get a little less. Like with you and your missing page, sir. Sorry about that. For a while there, when they did second edition, they started coming out with these challenges for each class, and so they had put 4 out for when they had the second edition logo, and then when they revamped it, they did 4 more. Somehow, I managed to get 1 of each, but 2 from the first series, and then 2 from the second. So I've got the Fighters Challenge. I did have the Clerics Challenge in this too, but I sold it out of my shop. Really good module. I missed that one. Well, this guy was on. Here I go again. Yeah, Gaming with ADHD, the guy who wrote this a few weeks back. So he's a good game designer, Tim Beach. Oh, the interview was pretty cool. Then we have a Thieves Challenge. Not really into thieves, like I've said before. So your missing page is about a reprint off eBay for $15. So we'll see how close it matches the OG. Add the missing pages to your original. Good stuff, man. That's kind of what I do. If I have the PDF, I'll print it up, man. And they really should say missing a page or something when you're reselling something. I would if I was selling something on eBay. I tried to sell some comics on eBay years back, and I was just so frustrated with eBay that I closed out my account. And now I've gone back and then set up a new account. I buy stuff off eBay, but I don't sell anything there anymore. It's just a big hassle, and I don't really like the bidding. A lot of people do, but it's not my thing. This was decent, not bad. The artwork was I actually like the artwork on the original Clerics Challenge better. Again, I wish I had that, but don't. And then at the last, let me see here, they brought out a bunch of these just really cool adventures. This one actually came out first, but I keep them alphabetically. Dancing Hut of Baba Yaga. I thought it was an interesting cover, and the adventure wasn't that bad. eBay can be a grind for sure. Spinetix is on an LLC, so you can try to keep a presence on there. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. And if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Like I said, this was interesting. They tried to hold true to the lore of Baba Yaga, so it was kind of neat. This was a way cool adventure, and I did run it once. I don't really remember it, but it was basically your Ragnarok's scenario. So I got those. I need a drink. I've been talking. So, kind of mentioned this. I got this one. Die Vecna Die. We kind of mentioned. Hello, Rascal and Lucy. I appreciate you being here. We're still looking at stuff. I'm a little bit more than halfway through what I got to look at today, but we're having a good time. We're about an hour in. Die Vecna Die. It's a monster book, dude. It's really thick. I read some of it, but it's like there's so much here. You could run an entire campaign with this book. All right, we'll put it up there, sir. Spinetix says hello. Now, normally I do put a lot of stuff up there, but it was kind of just you and I here for a long time. Spinetix and Shadow showed up for a bit. He's a cool guy. He's got a cool channel too. I'm plugging again. Rascal and Lucy says, I love looking back at these old D&D things. I used to have a whole collection of 2E. Yep, kind of what we're going through right now is my 2E stuff. And back at you, sir. Of course, you guys can see that faster than I do, but people who watch this in the replay, I watch them on TV sometimes, and the app that my internet provider uses doesn't let you look at the comments in the chat. They don't let you look at the chat or comments, so kind of sucks. Rascal Lucy says, made me sick when I lost it all in a Hurricane Katrina. I'm sorry, that's a bummer. That was a bad time for everybody. I think it hit Conan the Barbarian the hardest. Yeah, I completely agree. We'll put that up there. And I just lost a friend of mine last couple of days. He didn't make it, and so I was kind of bummed out. But I gave him a tribute on the last video I did, the Lenharrow Adventures tribute. So I get it. I know it's not the same, but when loss is loss, and I'm sorry I brought that up. Oh, Dallas, yeah, another Texan. My kid moved to Texas, as I was saying earlier. So, hey, everybody's getting to somewhere where they were. Spinetick says he visited New Orleans in 1996. We'll put that up there. Played Anne Rice's Vampire Lestat Halloween Party at the House of Blues. Best gig of your life. That sounds fun, dude. That really sounds cool. You know, I haven't been to any concerts ever in my life. I've been to live performances at I went to a pizza place one time and I've seen a few. And I've done a lot of plays, but I never actually went to a concert. I'm just not into crowds. And so I never had the opportunity or forced the issue and made an effort to go. So it's on me, you know, but that's something I have wanted to do. Maybe someday. Gates of Firestorm Peak, good module. Really kind of weird. They have a lot of elder monsters that they bring into this from a different dimension. Kind of interesting, and it has one of those pocket deals for you know what? We're gonna look at this one. Let's see. Rascal Lou says I was a tarot reader at a few of the vampire balls in New Orleans. That's cool. And let me see. Spine Tick says, oh yeah. He says, oh, nice, Rascal Lucy. If you heard of Alien Fashion Show, previously Red Heaven, I was the founding bass player. That is cool. And you said it was a rush being on stage for 1,000 crazed vampire fans there. That is cool, dude. Sounds like it would have been a real rush, like you said. Gates of Firestorm Peak. This was a really thick adventure and a lot of stuff to it. And I'm having a hard time getting it out of the. Yeah. That's gonna ruin the bag and board. So I'm gonna leave that one alone as much as I want to look at it. Rascal Lucy said they saw a typo negative at the House of Blues down in NOLA. That's cool. Sounds like you guys have read in some of the same circles. Now a lot of people talk about this one. Paladin in Hell. Not heard of them, but they hung out with the Lillian Axe crowd, Rascal Lucy says. Like I said, sounds like you guys have been in very similar circles. This adventure right here, high level, Paladin. It's kind of weird. The concept is you rescue a Paladin in hell, but how they got there, I think they were reaching, but still fun adventure. One of those hate it, love it. Now here you go. This was an adventure right here. Reverse Dungeon, and I have read this, but I haven't run it. My wife tried to run it one time, and I think I played a goblin. It was kind of cool. You get to play the monsters, and you fend off adventurers who come into your dungeon. It's kind of a, like I said, like the title says, a reversal of the fortunes. So it's kind of cool. If you're into that kind of thing. Humanoid's Handbook did the same thing. You could play monsters, but this was actually an adventure on how to do it. It's kind of fun. Oh, Vortex of Madness. This was interesting. One of those ones I haven't read this though. Pretty interesting. The other one of Madness I wanted to get, I don't have. But all right, I'm going to put these down on the floor so I can pull some of these over here. So excuse me for just a minute, guys. Sick art on the cover of the Vortex. I agree. Vortex of Madness, just very cool. The cover alone is what sold me on buying it, but the module itself is interesting too. Okay. Get these out of the way, and then I'll just pull these other stacks forward. Yep. Big collection, a lot bigger than I remember it, to be honest. It looks really small when you've got it in just a few. I used to keep mine in milk crates because you could actually stack them on top of each other like a bookcase. It's pretty cool. I got them in a bookcase now, but still got the milk crates. The hardback for Domains of Dread, Ravenloft, very nice. A lot of cool stuff in here. They added the Avenger class in here. There was like not necessarily an anti-paladin, but it was kind of like that concept. Pretty cool. They call the evil paladins Avengers back in the old Master set or the Companion. I don't remember which for the Beck Me D&D. So that's probably where they got the name for it, but same concept. Interesting stuff. Then we got that red box set that I was talking about last time for the Ravenloft, where I don't have the box anymore, but I put the box set here in bags and boards, and it's kept it as nice as I could. And it had a poster map of the cover of Feast of Goblins, which is the first adventure that they put out for Ravenloft, the campaign setting. Let me see. Good old-fashioned milk crates, I agree. Spine Ticks and Rascaloosas. I have several complete sets of art cards, trading cards, Boris 2, Hildebrand. I love fantasy art, so that sounds like a good card collection. I used to have the entire run of the covers of Weird Fantasy, and that was kind of neat. But I ended up selling those. My wife has a lot of the Pokemon cards, so I get the obsession. Boris Vallejo, yes. Great artwork from Boris Vallejo. And you remember that module? Which one? Which one, Rascal and Lucy? Been looking at a lot of them. Anyway, they brought out those loose leaf monstrous compendiums. And for Ravenloft, they had two, but they ended up putting out one book, and I wanted to get it like this. But then they brought out a third volume because they had 1 and 2 in one of these books. Strahd. Oh, yeah, Ravenloft. We already looked at that one. That's my favorite module. But we are going to look at it again because it's in the 30th anniversary. So we'll take a really good look at that one. Like I said, these annuals were really cool. These were from all the Ravenloft modules. The first one actually compiled the first 2 Monsters Compendiums, but this was cool. Added more monsters to your Ravenloft games. It was my favorite campaign setting, so I have most of the Ravenloft stuff, but not all of it. Got pretty close. The referee reference, Ravenloft reference, Dark Lords. This is really cool. I'm pretty sure House of Lambent is the one I read. The one I ran for Halloween the one year that I was talking about last week, one of the coolest games I ever run, was right out of here. My players really love the House of Lambent, and there's just a bunch of little adventures in here. Really, really cool to have this. You used to have all those. I get it, man. Yes, the Ravenloft guides, man. I didn't get all of them, but I got most of them. Van Richten's Guide to Vampires. Love this one. Some of the stuff you could do with vampires in here was really cool. I didn't really get into this one, Islands of Terror, but I was really trying to get the whole series. So this is number 4. And the cover was nice. If I can get that better. There we go. And so you can see it. Islands of Terror. Ravenloft was my jam back in the day. Van Richten's Guide to Ghost. Not a big ghost guy, but these are some good books. Give you a lot of cool ideas. The art is awesome on the vampire one. Yes, it is. I could look at this one all day. Very cool. And so I'll give you a better look at it. Love it. I've read that one cover to cover, but it's been years. I don't remember everything that's in it. Let me see. Then they started doing some other stuff near the end when they changed the logo and revised AD&D. Champions of the Mist. I haven't read this one, but it's one of their adventures. I have to check it out. That one's an accessory, but that's why I have it with my accessories. And we'll get into the modules here in just a bit. And then they put out a series of accessories / adventures, but Children of the Night accessories. This was for Werebeast. I have some of these that I've acquired recently. The only one I had back when it came out was Ghost. Some of the times there were some weird things I picked up. This was the last one I got for that series, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I got it about 5, maybe 6 years ago. Pretty much last time I was in a comic book store, game shop. I buy most of my stuff online now. Love the old vampire vibe. Me too. This is the one I was talking about, that in the box set that came with a poster map for this cover. Really nice cover. Really interesting and fun adventure. Now this one, if I can do this. This was the first module of the series. If I can safely break this out without killing it. This is the screen I was telling you about. I mean, I have the other Ravenloft screen. I love these cardstock things that it came with. That was for the Ravenloft 2 module that it came out with that nobody likes. I have it on PDF, Ravenloft 2. It's a pretty decent module. It works with Ravenloft. It's not the same vibe, though. It's kind of different. It came with a picture of the Kartakin in, and then a card. I might have put these in here from the box set because they're in this module. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure these came with the original box set. But I thought they belonged here, so that's why I put them here. Now, this came out with a new type of Ravenloft Goblin that was pretty cool. I had the poster maps, you know, of the land. That's upside down. Thank you. But yeah, they had some pretty cool stuff in here of Kartakas. And they came. This particular adventure came with a Ravenloft character sheet, and actually at one point printed up a bunch of these because you could actually fold it backwards like this. And I did them double-sided. It was kind of nice. But then on the back of that, you've got some more maps and stuff for the adventure. But what was really cool about this adventure is it also came with a Ravenloft screen, Dungeon Master screen for Ravenloft. And this was the, I think they called this the Loup Garou. But it's a type of werewolf. I thought it was really cool artwork. I wish they actually put that on a cover. But yeah, it had all the Ravenloft information you needed for fear checks and horror checks and all that really cool Ravenloft stuff that they did. Love the cover. So that's some good stuff. You just got to put it all back together when you take it out. So I am probably going to do that later. Give me a chance to look at it some more. But we'll slide those right back in there. Leave it like that. I bought this. This is one of the yeah, I got this one right when it first came out. That's right. Ship of Horror. This was a fun adventure. It was kind of on an island. And came out with these snow golems. Kind of interesting and cool. The goblin I was talking about. And the Feast of Goblins. I was going to show you that. I think it's on the last page. No, that's the Greater Werewolf. Or Greater Wolfware, I'm sorry. But yeah, there it is. Goblin with a Y. They were nasty, and if they bit you, you would actually lose points of charisma, man. Nasty monster, but that's what the module's named after, Feast of Goblins. Ship of Horror was cool. Now this one, for some reason, man, I was waiting for this to come out, and they kept delaying it, and I kept making fun of it because I had ordered it when I was managing a shop at the time, comics and games, and my boss kept laughing at me because I'm all, where is it? And I would I can't remember what show it was, but it was a come on, touch of death from a video game or something. But the show, they kept talking about it, and at the time I kept saying that, and then it finally came out, and he comes up to me and goes, "Here's your touch of death." So I remember this was a pretty cool little zombie module. A little low level, relatively 3 to 5. That's that getting there into that sweet spot. A lot of people like levels 3 to 5 in AD&D. I prefer 8 to 12 because I'm more of a fast and loose kind of action orientated game master. So then they had Roots of Evil. Now one of these, this one actually continues from the one of the other series. This was the second part of an adventure. Now a lot of these did tie into each other, but this has parts of the original. Larry Hama style, yes, thank you. I do like his style of writing very much, so sir. But Fast and Loose, Roots of Evil, not so fast and loose, but the way Larry Hama does things, yes, fast and loose. Yeah, he distracted me a little bit, but that's cool. This has a lot of the parts of Castle Ravenloft in it. Nice format. So that was kind of neat for that alone. Little module here called the Created. Had all these little toys that would attack you. And I think they were going for the Chucky vibe in this, but I don't know if they exactly got to it, but it was kind of neat. And I think at one point they actually turned the player characters into toys. So who knows? It's been a long time since I read that one. Web of Illusion, I always wanted to play and run, but I never got around to it. Yeah, it features a Rakshasa as a bad guy, as one of their Dark Lords. They have their update to the original Ravenloft module, the House of Strahd. I like this. It's not bad. I mean, they changed stuff. I still love the original better, and I like to run it based off the original, but they added some cool things in here that definitely aren't in the original, and it's like twice as thick. And I love a lot of the handouts they have and stuff for it, and some of the maps that they added to it. Very cool update. I still like the original one better. Oh, I got Touch of Death wrong. Touch of Death was the mummy one. Night of the Walking Dead was the little zombie module. A lot of fun though, this one. Touch of Death was definitely interesting if you're into mummies. It was pretty good. I read this one, Thoughts of Darkness, but it deals with a lot of psionics, and I never was into psionics, but it was part of my Ravenloft. Had to have it. Love the cover. And there's a whole realm of Domain of Dread with a Dark Lord. This Illithid, man. I just dig the Illithid. They can be some creepy damn monsters. And to put them in a Ravenloft, that made it even creepier. They have Illithid vampires in that module, if I remember right. That's some craziness. Let's just turn something nasty into something nastier. From the Shadows. This was the first part of that other one that continued on into to the other one, the one that was in Castle Strahd. This one isn't in Castle Strahd, but it had some pretty cool stuff. I have been dealing with hatching the spiders in my basement here. So, little ones all over the place. So, excuse me for that. Bummer. This one featured it was kind of their version of Frankenstein. They called him Adam. Take on the first man, I guess. Yes. Are you talking about Thoughts of Darkness? It is very Cthulhu influenced, or Mind Flayers in general. This one, like I said, it's kind of their version of Frankenstein. I think I read this one, but I never played it and ran it. Just have too many of them. There's no way you could probably, with a collection like this, no way you could run them all. No way you could read them all. I mean, you could, but you'd just be spending your whole life reading. I did read this one. The main bad guy in this is a demon. Pretty cool. I mean, they generally don't do this. This was very Cthulhu influenced too. Now, I've never played Call of Cthulhu, and I got a lot of buddies that have, and that's one I've been wanting to check out. So, H.P. Lovecraft. I've never read any of his stuff, but I love a lot of movies and video games, and a lot of stuff based on Cthulhu stuff. So, it's your typical werewolf adventure. Lots of fun. You into werewolves? Good module, Dark of the Moon, good cover. Yeah, see, Hour of the Knife is their take on kind of Jack the Ripper-esque style. Interesting little mystery to solve module. Kind of cool. I read this one, love this one. I wasn't a big Dragonlance guy, but when they brought Soph into Ravenloft, that was, to me, when they hit on it, loved it. Very cool module, very, very awesome cover. When black roses bloom, and with Soph there in the background, Lord Soph. Very cool. Love Ravenloft. Ravenloft Ravenloft is one of those. I could probably do a whole video on Ravenloft alone. They brought out Spelljammer. That slides nice and easy with that hardback under it. like this is one of those that I lost the box set for the box, but I still have all the books. Lore Book of the Void, and then you got your Concordance of Arcane Space, and then there's just a bunch of stuff it came with, cardstock and poster maps. Spelljammer was fun. Not one I could run very well, but I love playing it. I couldn't find a lot of people who wanted to run Spelljammer, which was weird. If you like sci-fi and you like fantasy, some people just don't like to mix their sci-fi and fantasy, I guess. This is all their references for it. I tried to pick up all these, but I didn't. Got some of them, but not all of them. Lost Ships, just to give you some more ships for the game. The box set came with lots of little fold-out ships and stuff. If I remember right, or either that was the War Captain's Companion, but I had all of it, so I don't remember what came with what all the time. Murder Comets, yes, sir. Those were cool miniatures. Good video, sir. Well, it was the one miniature, but all the miniatures in that video were neat. Love that Taron, man. And then they try to do Realm Space, and they tell you how it worked with Spelljammer, all the Forgotten Realms stuff. I don't know why they didn't call that Fair Rune Space, but Practical Planetology, just stuff on what's out there in space. It was a nice little reference guide. Dig the cover. Love the ships in Spelljammer. Here's one of the squid ships for the Rock of Brawl. Now, the Rock of Brawl was described in the box set, but they actually, when they did this, they totally detailed it. It's a meteorite that they built the city on. It's pretty cool. And, of course, I had to get Gray Space. I never found that one for Dragonlance Space. I can't remember what they called it. Kryn Space. That's what it was. But I never found that one. Let's see. Rascal Lucy says, I had some Spelljammer stuff, but never really got into it much. One of those space and fantasy don't mix people. I get it. It's cool. It is nice to look at, though. They got a lot of really cool stuff. I picked this one up just a couple years back. Space Layers. Haven't really checked it out. If it's like any of the other Layers books, it's just a bunch of little adventures, which is nice to have for a campaign if you're running it. I did try to run Wild Space. It was the first module they came out with. It's one of those that can throw you into a spelljamming game. Nice. It's kind of nice. Have the ship show up, and then it gives you your characters from the ground the opportunity to join in and become part of the crew. Go on an outer space adventure. I didn't get SJ2. I can't remember what it was called. And the only other of the SJ series I got was Crystal Spheres. Don't know much about this one, to be honest. Like I said, artwork does look nice. I agree, Rascal Lucy. Yeah, some of these, it's just I couldn't get anybody who wanted to run it. And if I didn't run the game, then I probably wasn't gonna be playing it. And I couldn't get anybody who wanted to actually sit down and say, okay, let's do a Spelljammer game. I did like a lot of the stuff that Spelljammer did. Like Everything You Know About Space is Wrong is the first thing it says in the box set. Goblin's Return, that's a good little module. Now, in Spelljammer, they had these lawful orcs in space called the Skrull, which is just the orcs backwards, but it was kind of neat. Goblin's Return, and then it continued in Heart of the Enemy. That was a little two-part saga. Fun stuff, but getting down to the last bit of all the stuff I'm going to show you. But we'll get into the 30th anniversary box set. Now, I'm pretty sure I've taken everything out of here that doesn't belong in here. But at one point, I just would stick stuff in there because it's a nice little file folder, but you can't see it on the shelf if it's in the box. It had this nice little history of TSR. You want to know how they see how it happened? Of course, this is how WotC sees how it happened. So hard to say on that one. I'll put these right here and just keep them in order. Came with another copy of the original D&D set, which I showed these off last time. I have the original ones, but this is a reprint. Kind of cool that they put it in there. Okay, that stuff to check out later. I got some notifications. Okay, so we've got Dungeon Module B2. Of course, one of the most played modules ever. It was nice that they put out an update for it. Well, that wasn't an update, but a reprint of the original module. And again, like I said, they came with the G1 series, the G series, G1, 2, and 3, in all the little separate modules. What I liked about these is I always just had the G1, 2, 3 in one book. And when you get these, the maps are so much bigger and nicer and better detailed. It's kind of sad that they just, when they stuck them into that bigger book, they condensed the maps. But I get it. They were trying to save money and whatnot. They were just getting started. But these old modules are really cool to have. And whether I have the reprint or the original, it's the same to me. I'm good with it. I don't have to go out of my way to try and pick one of these up on the aftermarket. Yeah, they are nice copies. They are. I agree, Spine 6. But I do love the G1, 2, and 3 in one book. And I was happy to have that when I first started collecting. I actually got that one and ran it as D&D. And I didn't know some of the terms in there, but it was fun to play. And like I said, they had that monochrome cover for the White Plume Mountain. And it was nice that they included that in there too. Okay. And yeah, here we go. We're going to take a look at this one. The Ravenloft module. Like I said, this is my all-time favorite module. I used to be able to run this in my sleep. I used to have it memorized. I could quote it, a page number, everything. Can't anymore, but even this one I played so much, some of the cover got shacked up during one of the game. But the original one has the orange background on the maps, and I don't know which one I like better now that I'm looking at it. To be honest with you, this is nice, and it's a nice reproduction, I thought. And this looks pretty much the same. The map of the area with Barovia and how to get to the castle, and how you come in over here by the gate, and then you come through the city, and then you got to go all the way around in the mountains, or you can go to the Gypsy Camp. Oh, if I can remember which direction, I'm pointing right there. And then the interior maps of Ravenloft, just sometimes they just nailed it. And this was that time. I mean, these maps I have redrawn and made so many times. I even at one point tried to put them on the computer. I never succeeded in that. But I do have them in a PDF now, so that's all good. But the artwork in this old first edition module, I love it to pieces. I mean, it teaches you how to play Strahd as a player character. Goes through the fortunes of Ravenloft, which they converted into the tarot cards or the Tarot cards. I have the 5th edition version of those here, which is nice. I don't like those as much as I do the original, which I have in the other box sets that I showed last week. So it's cool stuff. But I'm going to show off the artwork of this book just because I like it so much. The coming up to the castle scene is it's one of my favorites. And yeah, this, like those other ones, this is a great copy. It's nice, it's crisp, it's clean, it's new. I mean, it was nice. I mean, it was nice. I was happy to get this in the 30th anniversary set when it came out. So it made it so I could use this to play instead of my original, because I tore that module up, man. It's still in decent shape, but it was nice to have something else to use instead of my original. And I love that whole bit with her being reincarnated and everything. Ileana. And I actually, 9 times out of 10, when I run that module, she ends up in the module as an NPC that's in the party because they're protecting her and trying to keep her safe. And one time I even had somebody play her as a player character. It was kind of nice. And her brother too, Ismark the Lesser. I never ever had anybody play him, but he was in the party a few times. Just some of the artwork in this module is just incredible. And like I said, my favorite little vampirist there. Now, this, like I said, this is a reproduction, and it looks better than the original, but maybe it's just my nostalgia and my love for it. But that's Ravenloft. That's my favorite. So if I can actually put it back together in the right direction. Now, there's a few more in here that came with the 30th anniversary set, but I'm going to take some time and some love and put this back in its magazine bag and board. We love our books. As collectors, game masters, players, just collectors, love it. Now, they have the L series. I'm pretty sure I have all of that. Secret of Bone Hill. Now, all the ones with this border like this, the original first edition ones, the only ones I'm missing are the D1 and 2 and then the combined book. So I do want those. Assassin's Knot. Getting a little nice little sandbox adventures, man. Now this isn't much of a sandbox, but it's actually part of this one. And if you run them together, works really good. Now I put the L series in here. They don't normally come. They're not supposed to be part of this box set because they brought this out with the box set, and it's L3. Really doesn't have much to do with the other two, but this was supposed to be his conclusion. Now he sends great tour of the books. You're welcome. Thank you for saying so. Just posted Bone Hill on Instagram. It's a good module, man. This one here, it was kind of funny because my first campaign was Dwarf Elf, and this is Deep Dwarven Mine, so I liked getting this. Nothing like my campaign, but still a decent enough little module. And they made it first edition style too, even though this was WotC who put this out. So that was kind of nice. And of course, they had this nice little collector's CSR Silver Anniversary Collector's Edition artwork that they put in here. I'm pretty sure they only have the one. Yeah. And it's in a plastic sleeve on its own. So I'm going to leave it alone. And, a lot of those little box sets came with these. I didn't talk about them much, but for the RPGA Network, I have a lot of these inserts still. To do so, I am going to put these all back in the nice little file folder bucket and slide it back into its sleeve. Very nice set. The only thing I'm disappointed in with this is that they didn't give you a sidebar. So when you put it on a bookshelf, this is what you see, or this, and it's like, and that was a little disappointing to me, but it's still a really nice set. I picked up some other things. Now when I bought this, it wasn't messed up. I think somebody put something on it and it got wet, and then when I took it off, I didn't realize it was stuck to it, and I just kind of pulled it off real quick, and it took some of my cover with it. But this collects, I think, the first 15 of the DL series. So I have them this way. So a lot of people are like, well, and it also includes the saga rules. And I'm going to hold this aside because there is something else I wanted to look at before we sign off here in a bit. But I don't have a lot of Dark Sun. Wasn't my thing. Psionics. What did they call it? Soviet Dark Sun. I think Elfbait. Here we go again. At Elfbait. Elfbait's a YouTuber. Really cool guy. On another live stream the other day, he called it Soviet Dark Sun. I thought that was kind of funny. Now these have these. I've got some damage in here, so I'm not really going to show this off. But they came with these little flip books with the module. It was a nice idea, but it made it so it was really not that easy to store or put back together. But it came with a lot of interesting stuff, and it came with a nice little box. And I probably should keep this with my box sets now that I think about it. But Road to Urk, it's a Zeb Cook. That's why I bought it. So Dark Sun is a harsh setting. Yes, I never played it. The GM Cody, who I'm going to be jumping in the game with, it's one of his favorite campaigns. So I'll probably learn a lot more about it from him. He talks about it quite often, actually. I picked up one of the Link Mars. And this was for, I'm pretty sure this is a second edition one, right? When they changed the logo to just be an AD&D again. It was kind of nice. Don't know much about that one, to be honest, though. Oh, I do have another Dark Sun book. The Wanderer's Journal. It's probably something I picked up secondhand and probably more recently. And then they had 4 books in the Jacondor series, 3 or 4, but I only have 2. I've got the Land of the Legend. This is your campaign. And then I've got one of the Adventures, Islands of War. Nice covers, but I don't really know much about it, to be honest. But it's part of my collection. And when I saw them, I was like, oh, that's cool. And they called it Odyssey. Now, they brought out some other Savage Coast Odyssey for the Red Steel. But they didn't call it Red Steel anymore, but it was basically the same campaign setting. Now, the reason why I left this out, so I was going to put it on top, they had, when they redid this, they also had what they called the Saga rules. And if you didn't have the Saga box set, it came with cards and everything and taught you how to play. I wasn't a big fan of Magic the Gathering, and so I was kind of turned off by cards. I like a lot of the artwork for Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of things I do like about it, but it took a lot of my players away who wanted to just play Magic all the time. And I got it, but at the same time, it was like, oh, it was a bummer to me, and it was killing D&D at the time. A lot of people think that D&D died because they had bad business practices. No. They died because they lost a lot of money because they had all these products that they were putting out, and Magic the Gathering just was killing them. And I was there. I lived through it. I remember it, seeing it firsthand. But so they tried all sorts of stuff at the time, and so they brought out the Saga rules, and I didn't really get into it. I didn't know anything about it, but I did pick up, and this is why I had it out. I picked up the Marvel Saga rules for the Marvel superheroes, and this is a great game. I highly recommend it if you. I didn't like the size and the format; it doesn't fit with any of my other books really, but that's some pretty cool stuff for it. So if you're into that, this was TSR, so I thought it was pretty cool. So I thought I'd include it. Now I have the cards, and I found this Spider-Man tin that I put them in, so I still have all the cards, and so for you card guys, yeah, it had a bunch of little cards in it, and the numbers represented it was what you add to the difficulty level, and that's you had a hand, and you'd play a card with and try to match or beat the difficulty level. It was kind of cool, and you didn't use dice in this game, and it was kind of neat. I liked it. A lot of fun. I ran it quite a bit, not as much as the original Marvel, but did have a good time with the Saga Marvel superheroes. Now I had the original one, but I don't know what happened to my original copy. But a friend of mine was nice enough to, for my birthday, they actually printed up for me and put it in a setup like this and signed it and did all sorts of nice things for me. And so I have the original rules for the whole thing. Even the judge's book is in here. They put the whole thing in here, which was kind of nice. And then all the charts and stuff on the back for the original game, which was a good game. I don't really remember how to play it, but yeah, Spinetick says, oh, nice. I have the OG TSR Marvel Superheroes game, yellow box, and many modules. Yes. I had, like I said, I had the original box set. I think I gave it to a buddy because they were going to run it all the time, and I wished I still had it so much that a friend of mine made me one. It was kind of nice because they weren't very easy to come by back in the day before we really did the internet. So I've had that for a long time. Now I did get for it. I did get the Avengers Archives, and I had a module. I think I put it in here with this, but I had a Spider-Man module, and I don't remember. Oh yeah, there it is. Concrete Jungle. I just tossed it in here so I wouldn't lose it. To keep all my Marvel stuff together, and like I said, artwork was great. Love Marvel superheroes too, and I was a big Marvel guy, so I have a lot of the stuff in it, and it came with a really nice poster. And oh man, I was really into the Avengers at the time, and I have a ton of Avengers comics, and so they have poster maps of the Avengers mansion, and so I put my one Spider-Man module in there in my archives book. So that's my Marvel superheroes and my TSR collection. I do have Endless Quest books, but I definitely want to devote an entire video to them. I don't have all of them, but I got most of them. They're right there on the bottom shelf. They're taking up all that space except for I have the Lord of the Rings trilogy and one other book on there. But you have the Concrete Jungle. That's cool, Spine Ticks. I loved Marvel superheroes. I could talk about that one. I might do a video on it. I used to make my own comics as a young man from the ages of about 16 till I was maybe 25. I made about 165 of them. They're just hokey. I did publish the first 4 I ever made. I redid them on the computer and then colorized them, and because all of mine were just pencil drawings. And I'm going to do a video on those at some point. I did a video on the first one, the one that I published. That's on my channel. So check out my Hitlore Books Reviews playlist. It's on there. 4 Aces #1 is what I called it. So it was a lot of fun. So that kind of wraps up what we're doing here today. And I appreciate you guys being here with me and looking at my collection. It's very nostalgic, and I had a good time. I hope you guys had fun. With that all being said, again, I had a good time. Thank you so much for being here, and anybody who watches the replay, hope you enjoy. And Logan out. If I can get my mouse to work. Good night, everybody.